Hello, everybody. I'm back again after just seeing me, and I'm so excited to be here. You got this. Talking a little bit about my background. I'm going to share a little bit more of that later. But today's talk is on classroom management strategies for workplace office triumph. That crossout is going to make a little bit more sense in just a couple of minutes. Like Kevin said, my name's Andrew. I'm a developer advocate at DevCycle. Yeah, let's jump into things with a little TLDR on what all of this is going to be about today. So let's pull it up. Amazing. So today's talk TLDR is all about understanding and honoring the why of everyone's behavior and how that can significantly enhance our interactions in the workplace. Now, I actually had a much longer TLDR, but I was told by my work colleagues that if you need a TLDR for your TLDR, it's too long. And so you may notice as kind of I'm going through the talk today, you might say like, oh, a lot of these things seem like they're really focused on managers in the workplace. But what I'm hoping that you're going to gain as a manager, obviously, or as somebody who's working in a collaborative group is how you can lean into the strengths of your team to help individuals within that team and your team itself grow. And as an IC, an individual contributor, I'm hoping to maybe give you a little bit of a better understanding maybe of your behavior and that of your colleagues, and maybe you'll see yourself in kind of some of the things that we're talking about or that I'm talking about in the talk today. And hopefully that can help you find success in the workplace and outside of it as well. So in today's talk, I'm going to cover some common office archetypes and personas. So think of these as sort of just like um, personalities that you see represented both kind of in the classroom, but also in the workplace. We're going to cover some brief educational psychology. I put the word brief in quotations because educational psychology is never truly brief. But we're going to try and give you a little bit of a walkthrough here. I'm going to look at why some specific behaviors occur. And then, of course, the most important part of this, how you are going to be able to, or hopefully you can use this knowledge to work better or more efficiently or more effectively or more respectfully with colleagues or employees, depending on who you are. All right. So why am I? How have I gained the knowledge and perspective to talk about this? Well, as Kevin said before, I'm a teacher. I actually started my career. I studied forensic science, applied science at university, and then immediately decided, let's go and become a youth worker, and sort of combined those two things a few years afterwards by getting into the world of STEM outreach, and working with universities, and then went back to school to get my teaching degree. And then a couple of years ago, entered the world of DevRel and community through a role as community manager at Battlestake, and then most recently in my role as a developer advocate here at DevCycle. So I'm really excited to sort of use all of this knowledge to share some useful information with all of you. But in order to do that, I need to pose first a question to everybody that is watching today. And that question is this: what are some common office personas that you might also remember having been represented in the classroom? So think of these sort of archetypes, think of these, I don't know, cliched personalities that you might remember from these environments. And let's see if we can kind of bring some of these to top of mind. So you might remember like the know-it-all that was in your class, maybe also in your workplace. That shy person, the cool, that really bubbly personality that likes to socialize with everybody. There might be a class clown or office clown in your workplace. The bully, hopefully not in your workplace. The new person. All of these are kind of really common tropes that we see in the classroom. But obviously today's talk is about how you can use classroom strategies in the workplace or the office. And the reason that I switched it to the office is I am a big fan of a very particular TV show that I thought would be a really good exemplar for us to look at some of these archetypes, The Office. Now, I will say, if you've never seen The Office before, don't worry. I think we all will recognize some of these personalities. Maybe this will inspire you to watch The Office, which I really hope it does. It's a great show. But either way, it'll just kind of provide us with a framework to kind of look at some of these different personalities and some of the background on how to work better with them. All right. So, like I said before, I wanted to provide a brief warning or a warning that there will be some brief educational psychology. Now, I will say you don't need to fully grasp all of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, but the broad strokes are going to help provide context on some of the strategies that I talk about later. It was interesting when I did the run through of this with my colleagues. They said make sure you warn the audience about this, and so I wanted to give everybody the opportunity. The other warning I'll give you is educators, teachers love acronyms. And while that is sometimes good, sometimes bad, teachers do it way better, I think, and make their acronyms a lot of fun. And so hopefully that'll be demonstrated first off. So the first acronym that I have for you is this one right here. Everyone eats. And so this acronym actually comes from an area of psychology known as applied behavior analysis. And what it describes is that every behavior is serving kind of one or more of these four functions for an individual. It's either serving a function to help them escape from something, it's helping bring attention, there's a tangible benefit, or there's a sensory either benefit to doing it or not doing it. And so while this is sort of really focused on this education world and psychology world, I think at a core level, this is broadly applicable to all behaviors that we see across both the classroom and in the workplace and in the office. In that, I think if you look at even a lot of the things we do ourselves, a lot of them are for one of these four reasons or multiple of these reasons. Now, at a core level, a lot of these functions are serving to meet specific needs that we have as individuals. And some of those needs, like we say, tangible needs are we need money and we need food, and others are kind of more psychological. And so when you're looking at the concept of needs, you need look no further than Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is something that you may have seen before. It's come across in a lot of different contexts. But the idea here is that in order to kind of reach our potential and reach that point of self-actualization, we need a solid foundation. And that means sort of like having all of our basic needs met, our physiological needs of like food and water and rest, and our safety needs of ensuring that we've got security and safety. And then as you kind of progress, you can move up to satisfy your psychological needs, and then eventually you can reach those self-fulfillment needs. And so as we kind of think of those four functions of escape, attention, tangible, and sensory, we can kind of tie those into these different needs and these functions fulfilling specific needs for us. Now, as educators, we've known about a lot of this stuff for a while. The hierarchy goes back to the 40s, and a lot of the ABA stuff goes back a number of years as well. And when we are using these in the classroom, we try and do it in a way that focuses on learning styles and allows learners to grow and succeed. So I love this meme. Experience is a really great teacher, but we know that not everybody learns in the same way. Everyone is unique. And we also know that in the classroom or in the workplace, you've got a ton of people that you are working with on a regular basis. And so trying to individualize strategies for every single person and every single need and every single function would be really challenging. And so a few years ago, another acronym, CAST, came out with a framework for creating a environment for learning that will support everyone in sort of a universal way. So things that we can apply universally that are going to support individuals to grow, whether in the classroom or the workplace. And that acronym, UDL, stands for Universal Design for Learning. And the focus here is by looking at sort of three different parts of learning: the why, the what, and the how. We can create environments that are going to support people to grow grow. We're going to stimulate their interest. We're going to present information in different ways and differentiate in such a way, in such a universal way that we can really support people to grow in the workplace. And so with this concept of UDL, we can support individuals to be purposeful and motivated, resourceful and knowledgeable, and goal directed and strategic. And I think whether in the classroom or in the workplace, these are definitely the things that we are aspiring to build individuals to be, and will create that kind of healthy workplace balance for all of us. All right. Brief educational psychology lesson done. So now let's kind of jump back to what we were talking about before. It all ties together. Looking at some office personas and a couple of UDL inspired strategies that might make working with those people a little bit easier. And again, if you're not in a manager position and you're in or in a supervisory position, hopefully maybe you'll find yourself in a few of these personas, and maybe some of the strategies that are presented for like helping these folks really grow in the workplace are going to help you to really advocate for yourself as an employee to your supervisor as well. So let's start off with, I think, one of the most common niche tropes that's out there, which is the office, the class clown. And so this person, I think we all know somebody like this, love attention, love a joke or a prank, love humor, very outgoing, but often can be distracting to others. So if you are an Office fan, there's a couple of people that might fit into this one, but I think the person who fits best into this category would be the Office boss, Michael Scott, regional manager at Dunder Mifflin. And when we look at all of these personas, all of these archetypes, I like to look at them through the perspective, and I think UDL does as well, of strengths and stretches. So areas that people are really successful in that are their strengths, and areas that are stretches for them and in working with others especially. So looking at strengths, these people can create a fun and lively environment, which can help reduce stress and really does promote team bonding, but often can be disruptive, might not take tasks seriously, and then sometimes can actually be perceived as unprofessional. So the question becomes, how do you work with the office clown? How do you work with this personality type? Well, the first thing you need to do is, again, let's jump back to our EATS acronym. So escape, attention, tangible, and sensory. What might be sort of one of the functions of this behavior? Well, likely this is motivated by that desire, that function, that need for attention. And again, that can be tied to a lot of those core needs that are in there. But again, instead of working against and trying to change behavior extrinsically, which I think we all want to do, we want to make people kind of work better with us, but growth happens intrinsically, not extrinsically. And so by helping people grow, by meeting them where they're at and supporting them and providing them those base levels, we're able to help them grow and move forward. So let's look at a couple of strategies, a couple of ideas that can make working with the office clown a little bit better. So first thing, foster that workplace culture that actually appreciates humor and positivity, but also really focuses on emphasizing the importance of professionalism. You'll notice a lot of the strategies here focus on workplace culture, and I think so much of these pieces really focus on creating this environment that's going to help people grow. So allow for the creativity in humor and presentations and meetings and things like that. I can say that I have not worked for a ton of companies, but I've worked for enough that you wouldn't always be able to get away with doing an office themed presentation at a conference. I'm really lucky to work at a place they have, and I've been able to do this in a lot of things that I do at work. And so allowing for that to happen is definitely a really important part. And then involving them in social committees and event planning where that enthusiasm can be used. So really providing opportunities for this person's strengths to grow so they can build that solid foundation. All right, so that's how we can work with our Michael Scott. Let's move on to another one of our archetypes, the know-it-all. And I think we all kind of know one of these people as well. Always has an answer, always has a correction, really smart, but can sometimes come off as arrogant and overbearing. And again, if you're an Office fan, you might recognize this in the character of Oscar Martinez. Now, if we look at strengths for this know-it-all, wealth of expertise, great problem solver, and very detail-oriented, but can come across as arrogant, can struggle with collaboration and can discourage others from sharing ideas. So again, first thing we need to do in working with this personality is to kind of look at where that behavior comes from. And so again, we're going to see attention, but here there's also a tangible benefit. So think of the tangible benefits that might come for this person for having this a lot of the behaviors that you're going to see here. So let's look at some strategies, some ways, some UDL focused areas that can help us work better with this type of individual. So first thing, provide advanced learning opportunities that match their knowledge level, or allow them to be to seek out these opportunities. So there's obviously a really great benefit that comes from their knowledge, and if you can help again meet these people where they're at, it's a really beneficial thing to help them grow. Um, Also, encouraging them to share their knowledge in constructive ways. So maybe having them deliver some of those trainings or seminars or workshops, or create a structured opportunity around things like mentoring. Opportunities like that are really great ways to help these people kind of find ways to kind of move through. And then last, challenge them with complex tasks. This is similar to sort of providing advanced learning opportunities, but provide this kind of archetype, this kind of persona with tasks that kind of meet their knowledge where it's at as well, and help them grow. All right, so let's go on to our next the quiet one. So this person, often introverted, tends to keep to themselves, and while they may not seem to be involved, they're often very engaged. Again, looking at our office personas, this is very much describing Pam Beasley. And strengths there: great listener, thoughtful and observant, and valuable insights when they provide them. But stretches, they can struggle to communicate, and others might perceive them as disinterested or uninvolved. Maybe you see yourself in this person. Maybe you've seen yourself in all three of these people so far. So maybe some of these strategies for working with this quiet persona might be helpful as well. So again, looking at our functions, a lot of this may come from the escape and also sensory. So it may actually be a sensory concern for this individual. So how can we use that lens of UDL to really support this person? First thing, provide clear written expectations and opportunities for feedback or questions. Much as it's great to get this person to contribute in public meetings, that's not necessarily the best way to go. So providing opportunities that are meaningful for them to contribute is a really important thing to do. I know this is less of a big deal for us now that we're in the remote world, but certainly when we look universally, provide lots of different opportunities and ways to communicate, written, digital, synchronous, asynchronous, just to reduce the pressure that comes from sort of the group meetings and public speaking areas. And then last thing is make sure that you're not necessarily trying to create everything that's a group project, right? I think we can all remember from school experiences, group projects weren't always great, and especially for this kind of person, that can be a really big struggle for them. So assigning individual tasks that they can do independently or work in smaller groups can help foster that environment and help them kind of build the building blocks to grow and advance. All right, couple more here. We got the rebel. So this is our person who doesn't like to follow rules, doesn't conform to norms, questions authority, disruptive. They're kind of the disruptors that are out there. And I think if we look at this again from The Office, we got Ryan Howard, who's a really interesting character throughout the show. In that, brings fresh ideas to the table, challenging the status quo and trying to drive innovation and change. But in doing so, can clash, create conflict, and can struggle to conform to norms. So again, we look at this. This may come from a place of escape or from a place of attention. Could be either. But either way, working with this person, things that we can do, ensuring policies are transparent and open for discussion. And again, jumping back to this workplace culture thing, that there is a culture of questioning and innovation in the workplace. Provide platforms for them to voice their opinions. There's nothing worse than providing this rebel without no platform in order for them to go in and disrupt. So creating opportunities for them to provide their feedback and voice opinions in a really structured way is going to be a really important way to work with this person and help them move up that kind of hierarchy of needs and progress. And last thing, involve them in problem solving and improvement initiatives. So even if it's not necessarily right in that job description, take them places where that out of the box thinking can be beneficial for them. That's a really important way of working with them. All right, we got one more persona here, and I think we all probably know this person in our workplace as well, the social butterfly. This person's really outgoing, usually know everyone in the office, excels at networking and like planning social events. So I think if we look at the office, Kelly Kapoor definitely fits this description. So really big networker, often tries to promote team cohesion and can boost office morale. Stretches can often get distracted from work tasks, involved too much in office politics, and can struggle with setting boundaries. So again, we're kind of jumping back to that attention with this individual. So what are some different strategies versus our kind of class clown, office clown that we talked about before? Regularly communicate about social events and group activities. Make sure that this person knows that there is a place for them within the company that they can go and thrive. Encourage them to build networks and relationships in the workplace, perhaps in more structured roles. So create structured opportunities that allow this person to use their strengths and lean into them in a really meaningful way, rather than having to force them to find these opportunities to do it outside of that kind of structured environment. And then involve them in those kind of team-based tasks and social events, so you can take advantage of those skills as well. So again, lots of ideas all through this lens of meeting people where they're at and helping them grow. All right, so we had, I think, 5 personas ranging from our office clown to our social butterfly. What are some of the key takeaways from all of these personas and these categories and suggestions for working with them through the lens of UDL? Well, the first one is people have core needs that need to be met for them to grow. You can't move to self-actualization if you don't have kind of those physiological needs met and the psychological needs met, and those must be met for them to grow. Behavior that we're seeing in the workplace and outside the workplace has a function connected to those needs, and recognizing the functions and the needs that are connected there is really important. Creating experiences that meet people where they're at, which I've said over and over again today, can help them progress towards their potential. And the other really important thing is be kind to yourself and others as that progression occurs. It doesn't occur in a linear way. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. And learn to recognize and communicate what you need to thrive. That's a really, really important part of this process. All right. So if you have more questions about this, if you want to learn anything more about this, or just you want to connect with me, here's where you can find me on all of the socials. You can also visit my website here. And that is it for me today. Thank you so much, everybody. And hopefully there's some great questions that are going to come out of this.